Hi, this is Gary with MacMost Now. On today's episode, let's look at Launchpad. So Launchpad is a new way to launch applications in macOS 10 Lion. It doesn't replace anything that was going on in Snow Leopard. You can still launch applications from the dock. You can still double click on them in your applications folder. You can still search for them in Spotlight and run them from there. So all the standard ways to run things are still there. Launchpad is just an additional way to do it. Now, Launchpad works a lot like the home screen on the iPad and on the iPhone. You can have multiple screens. All your icons represent all the apps that you have on your machine, and you can even create app folders. Let's take a look. So the easiest way to launch Launchpad is click on the icon in the dock. You can also completely remove it from the dock if you decide not to use Launchpad. Click on it, and it brings up all your application icons over a blurred background of your desktop. Now, notice at the bottom there are two dots here, and you can move back and forth between the pages or the screens in Launchpad using either two-finger swipe left and right on a trackpad, or you can just simply use the arrow keys left and right. Now, to launch any app, you would, of course, just click on it, and it will bring the app right up, like that. Now, you can also move apps around, change their order. So, for instance, just click and drag and move it there. Now think of it as a linear list where if you move something from a space, everything's going to move to kind of fill it in there. So it's just a list starting at the upper left and then ending in the lower right. So you can move things around, but you can't really leave blank spaces. You can also move to the other screen by simply dragging to the right, and it will jump to the other screen, and you can drop it there. So you can have blank spaces at the end of each screen. Now, if you want to create an app folder, which is like one here, there's already one for you called Utilities. Click on that and you can see what's inside the Utilities app folder. It's just like on the iPhone or iPad. You can create your own by simply dragging and dropping one app onto the other. Do that and you can see it kind of gives you a name there based on the type of app. You can double click on that name and change it. Click outside to leave it, and if you want to put a new one in there, simply drag it into that app folder. To get something out of the app folder, you simply drag it out. Now, when you download something from the Mac App Store, it automatically jumps not into the dock like it's Snow Leopard, but into Launchpad. If you want to remove something, you can simply click and hold over it. So, for instance, let's do it here for Final Cut Pro. You click and hold, and you can see an X appears above any app that you can actually delete. So I can delete Twitter or Final Cut Pro here. The rest of these I can't delete because Launchpad doesn't have permission to delete them. It only has permission to delete these two because they come from the Mac App Store. Now, note that when you delete them from Launchpad, it's deleted from your Mac. It's just like on iOS. So be careful when using these X's to remove things from Launchpad. So I think the most important thing to know about Launchpad is it's just an additional way to launch apps. If you're used to using the dock, or you like to really control what you see by using dock icons and dock folders, then you should continue to do that. Launchpad is just an alternative, and it's a really good one for new Mac users because instead of having to dig into the applications folder to see what you've got there, you can just use Launchpad to see all your applications and quickly launch them. The biggest danger, obviously, is going to be people trying to remove things from Launchpad, not realizing they're actually deleting those applications from their Mac. Of course, this only happens if the application was purchased in the Mac App Store. And I think the biggest problem people will face with Launchpad is if they just want to have an application not in the Launchpad, even though they want to keep it on their Mac. There's just no way to do that. It's like on iOS. If you've got the application, it's going to be listed there. You can create app folders and stick rarely used apps in those app folders to kind of hide them. So the bottom line is that Launchpad probably isn't for everyone. If you're a power user, you probably just want to stick with using the dock or whatever method you use now to launch apps. If you're a new user to the Mac or you really like how iOS works with home screens, then Launchpad's probably for you. Hope you found this useful. Till next time, this is Gary with MacMost Now. Want more video tutorials? Just go to MacMost.com, click on the videos link at the top of the page, and then you can view all of the hundreds of MacMost videos by category.